Welcome, everybody. Day one, Bahamas with Bob at the Island House Invitational Triathlon. We are brought to you by Island House Cervelo, Gatorade Endurance, our official charity partners, More Than Sport, and Babbittville Radio. Our next guests, the Olympic gold medal in the triathlon, Gwen Jorgensen, and her better half, Mr. Pat Lemieux. How you doing, you guys?
Yeah, really good. Now that we're here in the Bahamas, it's a beautiful place.
Did you come from cold weather, or where you been?
We've been traveling around a bit. Patrick had a birthday, so we actually went to an F1 race for his birthday. So
you went to Formula One race?
I was really, really lucky. Yeah, it was a big ask, and Gwen delivered for made my birthday very special. So he was a pretty lucky guy.
Just had Alex Zanardi on the radio show. You know, Formula One guy.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys are amazing. They're all amazing athletes too. People don't realize what type of athlete you need to be.
Yeah, they really work. It was crazy.
They are crazy. So I tell people all the time, I said, I don't know if I can get good in this sport. I said, well, this is gal Gwen Jorgensen. She swam for 3 years at Wisconsin, ran her last 2 years, got her CPA, was starting work at Ernst & Young, and somebody basically said, hey, how about becoming a professional triathlete? And within, a year and a half, you're on the Olympic team.
When you say it like that, you make it sound like it was very easy. But
no, it wasn't.
You know, I did grow up swimming and running, so I did have that background. Yeah.
Yeah, you had the background, but the bike, right? And that's been sort of the mentality that, hey, if we find someone with a great swimming background, a great running background, we can sort of teach them the bike. How hard was it for you to learn the bike?
Yeah, I think that's been USA Triathlon's format, and they've done a great job. If you look at the USA women, they've just been phenomenal the past few years because of that formula that you've been talking about. And learning the bike was not easy, and I still struggle with it. Thankfully, Patrick, my husband, actually he used to be a professional cyclist, so he's helped out a lot.
Many pounds ago, but...
So Tom Schuler's a good friend.
Yep.
And Tom was talking to me during this whole time when you were starting. He goes, she's going to be great. You're having a little problem clicking in right now, falling over at stoplights and things like that. So you met Pat on one of those rides.
Yep. I was doing a group ride that I did every week in Milwaukee, and Tom Schuler was the one that was helping me out during that time. And Tom was a mutual friend, and Pat happened to be in town, and Tom introduced us.
And the rest is history.
Yes. So but my favorite part is, what really impressed you was when he asked for your cell number and was able to ride no-handed and put it in the phone. That knows, okay, this guy can really ride the bike.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive to me. Somebody who still was falling over at stoplights every once in a while to be able to ride no-handed. That was a pretty big deal.
So Pat, when you first saw Gwen riding a bike, did you feel that, okay, there's obviously an engine here and she could be really, really good at this?
No, I was mostly just looking for a date for dinner. I wasn't playing the long game like that. So
you weren't encouraged to go, oh, you're doing really good, you better come back next week.
No, I was randomly in town in Milwaukee and just bumped into Gwen and somebody that I hadn't really seen through bike racing or anything like that. So it was really just trying to figure out what was going on. And she was telling me about, she's doing a triathlon in a couple weeks in Germany, and I just thought, golly, you've probably got to go by. You're flying over 25 triathlons to get to this one in Germany.
Isn't there another one a little closer that you could be doing?
Find one a
What's
little
the
more
big
convenient. Yeah, so was really just trying to figure out how the sport was going to work, and in the middle of that, I guess we, were dating and got married and the whole bit. So,
when did you start feeling like that Gwen could be a really good cyclist? Or has that not happened yet?
I'll let you know. No, I think Gwen is cyclist or triathlete, or that was you could see that really early on, and I think even leading into the Olympics, and then right after the Olympics, when 2 months later when she was second at the grand final, that was when the lights were coming on, not only for me, but kind of for just the whole triathlon world,
Yes. Well, when I saw, obviously your preparation for Rio, because that's not your typical ITU out and back type of thing. That was a technical course with a good climb in there. And you've got your Olympic gold medalist, Nicola Spirig, and she's trying to drop you throughout the end. She knows she's got to get rid of you on the bike, and you just hung so tough. But I was reading some of the preparation that you guys were doing with the virtual reality glasses, with getting on the back of a moto to really get the feel. How helpful was all that?
Yeah, really helpful. We wanted to do everything we could to be prepared as possible.
Yeah.
And on race day, anything can happen. And in London 2012, I had a flat tire, and there could have been a different mechanical or something like that. So we kind of wanted to be prepared for any situation. And so we looked to different sponsors and different specialists to help us out. And I did a camp with Red Bull, and Pat was there, and we tried to overcome this fear that I had of going fast on the bike, because that's something that still scares me to this day.
On the downhills.
On downhills, yes.
Yeah.
The more speed I have, it's scary.
You're not alone. For all of us. Yeah.
So we did. I was on the back of a motorcycle, which was too scary for me, and we just pushed my limits. And I did all these things to hopefully make race day as comfortable as possible. Obviously, it wasn't comfortable, but you wanted to make it as not very foreign. You just wanted it to be something that you were used to.
And just watching the way, that was a bike race, right? That day was a bike race. Nicola weaving all over the road and you following her along. It must have been sort of fun. It's like, this is a bike race and I'm right at the front, because usually you'd be coming from behind a little bit.
I did have a lot of fun during that race actually in Rio, but I think if you ask Patrick, he probably had a little different view. In the first lap, he was very scared that I was going to get dropped. So
really, what were you thinking?
A couple wrinkles later, and I think for Gwen, we'd always just tried to prepare for those critical moments in the race. And I'm in no way, shape or form her coach, but her coach did a really good job of getting her ready for these critical moments. And if you go back and you watch the race, you see first lap of the bike, Gwen is basically the last one over that hill. And then the cameras go away and you don't really see anything until they are coming back up the other side. So I guess for me, that was a point where Gwen was either going to be in position to win the race or very early on her race was going to be over.
Well, and with Nicola getting injured early in the year, you really didn't get a chance to race her much, right? So there was you both were sort of flying blind a little bit. Not how many times you raced her before Rio?
I'm not sure.
Maybe London, but in London you flatted. So
yeah, I don't know. I think though, she's an Olympic gold medalist. You can never count out somebody who has an Olympic medal.
Ever.
And she's has a great training program, and she showed up, I think, on Rio and did a phenomenal job.
She really did. So obviously everybody's chatting about the fact that you guys were chatting throughout part of the run. And so take me through that. There was a point, she obviously was doing a lot of the pulling during the bike, which was a smart move on your part to conserve energy. She wanted you wanted her to come help a little bit on the run.
I had run 2 laps of the run leading, and then she came around me and she slowed down and she said, "Let's share the lead." And I said, "Well, I just did 2 laps." And
so your turn.
I didn't say that, but then she said, I already have an Olympic gold medal, and she was trying to say, if I wanted to get one, I needed to work. And she said afterwards, she was very complimentary, and she said that she was trying to play mind games, and you got to do everything you can in those moments, and that's what she did. And thankfully for me, I had enough in the engine to finish it off.
Was it, when you are so dominant like you've been for the last couple of years, was it almost a sense of relief when you won the gold? Because everybody's been saying the favorite. And when you win it, it's overwhelming. And at the same time, it's, I'm like, whew.
Yeah, I think if you watch my emotions after the race, I got pretty emotional, which is unusual for me. And it's not so much even the outside pressure, but just internally. I've dedicated 4 years, and Patrick gave up his career to support me for 4 years. So there's all these people that invested in me, and I was investing in myself for 4 years. And so to be able to actually come away with a win on that one day after focusing for it for 4 years is pretty remarkable and pretty hard to do. So I just had so many emotions afterwards.
So Patrick, from being involved with this thing for a long time, usually cyclists are not the most complimentary folks of triathletes, right? And you were racing there as a pro, and tri geeks, and get off your aero bars, and you running all the lights. What was your impression of triathletes before connecting with Gwen?
I think you kind of ran the gamut there. You did a pretty nice job. So it was.
But you didn't really know what ITU racing was when you met me.
I didn't have a great understanding.
He knew Ironman guys.
Yeah, I didn't have a great understanding of ITU, and to be, I would have never imagined, that I would be in such a high performance triathlon specific environment for 4 years. That's something that I wouldn't have ever experienced. So to be in one the last 4 years has been just a whole new level of respect. And honestly, I think I find myself calling cyclists quite lazy after my 4 years. So It's Gwen's usually got 2 sessions done by noon, and a lot of times the cyclists aren't even rolling out yet.
They're still at the coffee shop.
Yeah, they're just hanging out and chatting. So, I've got a huge level of respect.
When did you decide that it was important for you to give up your career as a cyclist to, if Team Gwen is going to do something, you need other people, right? It is a partnership at the end of the day. More and more athletes have their significant other somehow involved. This one gal, Michelle Vesterby, calls her husband is her bike bitch, right?
Sure.
He's the guy who just takes care of everything for her, and it's really, really important. Was that a tough decision for you?
No, not really. And I'd made it on my own. Gwen, it wasn't something that Gwen asked me to do or even thought that was possible.
Because guys weren't even engaged at the time.
No,
right?
no. I just remember I was gone. I'd been gone. I was at home racing a little bit, and I came back to watch Gwen race in Madrid in June of 2013, and she got 4th in the race, and I just felt a great responsibility that I felt like she was off the podium because I wasn't there the last 2 or 3 weeks helping her get ready for it. So during that race, I just made a decision that I was going to be done, and we went out to dinner that night, and I just said, I'm not going back home to America. I'm quitting cycling, and I'm just going to look after you. So,
what do you think? Here's a guy you've been dating, but you're dating.
Yeah, I think initial knee jerk reaction for me. I'm always probably a little too worried about money more than I should be, and I remember thinking, what are we going to do with your plane ticket that we bought for your plane flight home? We can't waste that money. And then also I said, Patrick, you really need to make sure that this is a decision you want to do
and not going to regret,
right? Because I don't want him to have any feelings later on in my career. I was like, I could totally fail, and I don't want you to be thinking, what if I could have continued with cycling? What if this? And we had that conversation at dinner, and
I think it was a really poor choice. I think I made the wrong decision. Yeah.
But yeah, so he assured me that this is what he wanted to do, and he wanted to support me, and so we just went from there. It's obviously a huge advantage for me to have him by my side, not only emotionally, but I'm able to recover a lot better because he does everything for me. I come home and a great meal is on the table, and I'm able to eat that healthy food right away and get in the nutrients I need and recover that much quicker.
So, Pat, when you saw Gwen win the gold, where were you, and what was?
Yeah, it was just I was just adjacent to the grandstands that everybody would have seen on TV, just down on the beach.
Yes.
And I think for most of that race, I was with Gwen's training partner and my good friend Aaron Royal, and we were just kind of watching the race together and seeing it all pan out. And it was a really, obviously it was incredibly emotional, but it was just so nice. It was just so cool to see the last 4 years, and it just kind of like, it almost happened in the last little bit was almost in slow motion for me, So I think once she kicked away and she had it, then you were just kind of like, whoa, it was all just like that. I guess for me, it was all just kind of like surreal. You're just watching, you're like, I can't believe this is what we were really worked so hard for together. So it was really cool.
How have things changed for you since you won the gold, or have they?
Yeah, I think things have changed. A little bit more busy, but and that brings more opportunities, which is a good thing. And
which is what it's all about.
We've had to say no to a lot of things, but we've had a lot of good things come along as well.
Yeah, like you were just talking about, you get to go to
Formula One race.
What other cool stuff have you done? Throwing a first pitch out? Have you been a brewer? Of course, you are not in the States that much, right?
I know, yeah. That's the problem. I've only been home, I think, now 11 or 12 days.
You're blowing the horn at the Vikings game coming up.
Oh, are you really?
Yep, so blowing the horn at the Vikings game. I've been invited to the Minnesota Wild game, been invited to...
Minnesota and Wisconsin are just in this constant...
Are they fighting over you?
They are. Yeah. Everyone wants me to come, but that's a good thing for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so... a lot of cool opportunities like that, and now I'm here in the Bahamas. That's another pretty amazing opportunity.
And then in a couple weeks, you're running New York City Marathon.
Yes.
Are you excited about that?
I am. I've wanted to do a marathon for a really long time, since I started running in college, basically. And when I started running in college, I was only running 20 miles a week at the beginning because I had to run, so you can't do it when you're not running that much.
Exactly.
And the past 4 years, it's all been about the Olympics, so I couldn't risk doing a marathon. So now just seems like the perfect opportunity. I'm not going to be as prepared as maybe I would hope, but somebody gave me some wise advice, and they said your first marathon wouldn't be your best. So
Yeah, you know what? With the raw speed that you're bringing in, I think you're going to surprise yourself. A lot of times, people's first marathon is their best because they're coming in with no expectations. They don't really know about, what's at mile 20. People who've been there at mile 20, they know what it is. The fact that you don't is ignorance is bliss. You're just you're just going to enjoy every second of it. Because, you're not trying to become a professional marathoner.
Yeah, I'm just going out there, and like you said, I've never. I think my longest run is now 16 miles.
Plenty.
So
That's plenty.
But I think part of the exciting part for it, for me, is that it is so new and there is no expectations.
None.
Like in triathlon, I go in and I have these goals and I have these expectations, and I've been training, and I think I know what I'm capable of. And the marathon is just kind of like, let's go out there and just have some fun.
And this race, you're defending champion here.
At the Island House, yes, but they changed it this year. It's now on TT bikes.
Yes.
Yes.
So will that be one of the first times you're racing on a TT bike?
So 2 years ago they had a race here. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And that was on a TT bike as well. So.
Yes. Do you like it, or is it?
I really I love my road bike.
Yes. Yeah. And see, now she loves the road bike.
Yeah.
Has that been a tough adaptation, Pat? The TT bike?
Well, I mean, the biggest problem is there just hasn't been a ton of time to ride it. So she's got 3 weeks on the bike since after Cozumel, and then now we've moved. You just try and ride the thing as many times as you can in between. We went on a little mountain bike vacation.
How fun!
It was fun.
So
wow, they talk about learning how to bike handle. If you ride a mountain bike next year, and you're doing some cyclocross too.
Yep, did some cyclocross. So between all that, the time on the TT bike is limited, which is good for me, I guess, because I like riding those other bikes.
Good for you. But this whole venue and just how beautiful this is, and the mix of, when else can you race against Miranda Carfrae without having to go to Kona?
Yeah, Mark Holowesko's done a great job with this event, and I tell everyone it's my favorite one all year. And it's the truth. You come here and you get to race people that you would never race.
Yeah, right.
And you get to meet some new people, and they're all really nice, and you're in the perfect location. It's beautiful weather, beautiful scenery. Today we went out and swam in the ocean, and it's just so amazing to be able to do that sort of thing.
And a lot of little drinks with umbrellas in it and all that.
Good wine, great food. Yes, it does not stop.
So after New York, what are the plans?
So I've been telling everyone this, and I feel like I shouldn't because I don't know if it'll happen or not. But the goalie's out, so Patrick and I are.
Yes,
yeah,
you pulled
trying
the
to have a
goalie.
kid.
I like it.
But
pulling the goalie. That's a
can't-
Karen Smyers term. I like that. Yeah.
You can't really plan that.
Right.
So don't know. I do want to go to Tokyo, but family is really important to the both of us, and we're ready to do that as well. So, I think someone like Nicola Spierig has actually been a huge mentor for me, just to see her be able to have a kid and come back and
get her law degree. And
she's done so much. So to be able to do all that has been really inspiring. And I think 4 years ago, if you would have said, Gwen, would you have a family and try to get back into sport, I would have said no, because I would have thought it was impossible. And there's been other women, even Beth McKenzie, who's here this weekend, the race director, she's done it as well. So there's just all these strong female even in our sport doing it, and it makes me encouraged that I could possibly do it as well.
Love it. Thanks, you guys, for taking
you.
time and chatting. Pat, you guys have done a great job together. It is a team, though, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. This is a Breakfast and Bahamas with Bob at the Island House Invitational Triathlon with Gwen Jorgensen and Pat Lemieux, the coolest team around. Hold on, everyone. We will be right back.